Good.
Sorry, I'm late. Who went first, or what's
Well, we were actually
what we're
just got
taking the
done
flow?
taking a vote because there's like a mandatory on timeness thing now, and so anyone that's tardy, we just took a vote, and you have to do 20 push-ups for tonight. So,
All right, I'm doing them now. Take my word for it. Oh, it sucks. Oh. All right, I'm done.
oh,
It's-
but fast. if it's not on camera, it didn't happen. That's bullshit.
You can't seriously expect me to aim the camera at me when I'm doing push-ups.
I don't want to scare anyone with those guns.
Yeah.
Um,
You got to show them
I
off, man.
just, I was just going over with the format with Chris, just so that he was brought up to speed, because I didn't know how much you guys talked last week about it, and just kind of give him the idea of how it flows every week for us. And I was just
Oh,
starting off saying my, kind of like my wins for the week and what I'm looking to like get feedback on. I finished my info pack,
awesome,
and
man.
and
Yeah, that's great.
and so I redid the info pack. I had an info pack, and it was junk. And so I've redone the info pack, and now I'm actually reaching out to people this week and then using the info pack with it. I'm gonna try and record a pitch and see if I can screen record it too, and see how that flows with people, and try and give it up to the group if I can. That'd be, I think, useful if I could get feedback on it. Um, so I'm gonna see if I
So
can
the
pitch
purpose
something tomorrow.
the purpose of recording is to be able to for you to analyze it going back and then also get feedback from other people.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
Nice.
Um, so I finished that up. I'm still working with, so I've hired Matei Laban as my sales coach. Um, I've been working with him for the past 4 weeks, and we've kind of like gone through a couple of things, mostly related to not just like the physical pitching of someone, but also just the whole mindset around it, of how I
Mm-hmm.
approach a call, my intention when I go into it, some of my limiting beliefs that are around it, and how I can overcome those, which has been really powerful.
Nice.
Yeah, that was money well spent. Let's see what else. This week was a little bit of a lull. I haven't done anything too crazy, mostly for the fact that I just had some really crazy work time the last week. Like Monday was, I think I worked from 8 to 10:30, worked from 8 to 8 o'clock on Tuesday, and it was just like super long day. So I just got bushwhacked on that. And needed to like have a good balance of like just put work down and relax and don't get burned out with either project.
Yeah.
Um, but next week's not going to be crazy. The first week of the month's always crazy for me. So it's going to be more focused on TF this week and a lot less on my day job. Um, as far as things I'm struggling with, I think it's mostly just finding that balance of time. This last week, I was just like all focused with my day job, mostly because I want to like get a. So I've taken on another grant on. I do affordable housing with my day job, and I do mostly like new development stuff. And we've just taken on the grant that somebody else was administering for like a self-help build program where 10 families all build each other's homes. Real neat program where you kind of get to know your neighbors, you get a bunch of sweat equity into your house. And long story short is someone else was doing all that work behind the scenes, and now it's landed on my lap, and it's going to take another, I'm going to guess, it's going to take another 8 full days out of my month.
Oh wow.
And I've already got a full like 40 hours, so I got to somehow like wiggle these in. And it's like just crazy. So, long story short, I'm a little overwhelmed. So I need to just
Yeah.
make a good balance and figure out ways I can do that. You guys got any tips on like when you're overwhelmed, how to how to like balance your time or prioritize would probably be a good thing for me.
Yeah. I mean that's you're preaching to the not to the choir in any way, but that's the wrong phrase. I struggle with that for sure. That's something that um, find it very easy for me to fall into that trap. And I try and remind myself of Tim Ferriss's advice in the 4 hour work week. And you start with eliminate. When you're overwhelmed, it's just eliminate. So it's maybe first setting your priorities for the week, whatever, the 3 things that if you accomplish those 3 things, you'd feel, if you did nothing else, that you feel good about yourself, and just try and eliminate everything else as much as you can.
That's really good
Yeah.
feedback.
I started just like, I came back from vacation 2.5 weeks, and I had like, 100 different emails or something like that, and I, perfectionist me wants to just read every single email and line by line and get like absorb all of that information, and then once I finally, this week, I just let that go. I was like, all right, well, screw it. I'm better served. I'm better served by never finding out what's in this email and only focusing on the 3 things that actually need to be doing. You know, and there's
So
a part of
I
my,
started that when I was on vacation, where I would come back and I would accidentally delete all my new emails and figure if it's important, they'll email me a second time and go, oh, I don't know what happened. They all got deleted. I
right.
have no record. So
Yeah,
I really on that. Yeah, I usually have like 100 and some odd emails to try and fill through after like even a week of being gone.
yeah,
Email is
that's
a
not
big
fun.
time suck for me. I should go back over the 4 hour work week on that, because didn't he have like a method on just like when he checked email and like only specific times or something?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. He chunks his email, and for someone that's that busy, he only spends half an hour a week on email or something ridiculous like that.
Wow.
At least the time in the book. I mean, he has a VA that goes through the majority of it, and he has different scripts and different, he's just more efficient than than we'll ever be, probably. But
Right.
um, yeah, he's got his system down, just chunking.
Drew,
Yeah.
what do you think? What should I do?
This new project, do you have to take it on? What is it gonna?
Yeah.
What are the benefits of it, and then what are the the
Brings in
obvious
about
downsides
500.
of it? Of our
So we took on the grant because it brings in about $500,000 to our development fund for administering it. Um, so that obviously feeds our new development. That really helps out with like the pre-dev like due diligence process. So every year we would have that $500,000 come in and be able to use it to other new construction or renovation sort of stuff. I'm obviously not seeing any of that, and the company I work for is a nonprofit, so it's just like I get my base wage. There's no like incentive. They don't do any um,
Revenue share or
well,
anything like that.
yeah, they don't do like bonuses or like incentivize in any way to like do more or do better, which is a real
um,
downfall, I think. They can do that. They're. I think it really comes down to they're not sure how to do that for everyone, as far as like what the criteria would be. And so instead of having it for just some for now and figuring out the rest later, just have it none for everyone until they can figure it all out.
Hmm.
is there an entrepreneurial skill that can be kind of distilled from this? Taking this on.
Yeah, as far as like if I want to get into more development on single family homes, this is definitely something good for me because I'm in the seat of everything related financially with it. From the time that we pick out lots to the time that they look for contractors to where we get the plans to um, everything pretty much flows through me. And so mostly everything I've done is multifamily development. I haven't done any like single family home stuff. And so it's nice seeing something on more of a smaller scale that's more realistic in, say, like a rural setting. And real estate's something I see myself doing, down the road later on in life. It's not something that I think is just going to be like the here and now, and I'm going to forget about it and never come back to it. So I've been learning some really good skills with it. Mostly, I want to, have, something else that I'm really driven towards, more like cause related. And then if I have a business that has great cash flow, something else, to supplement my portfolio of assets would be like to have a development arm that goes out there and like builds new properties. Hopefully, something that I could partner with for affordable housing, which is kind of my main focus right now. Is it's like I'm really driven for affordable housing. So yeah, there are some things I can learn out of it with just like regards to like learning about the development process for single family. But trying to think of anything else.
What's your biggest time sinks in the day?
Right now it was setting up the software module that we're using to track it, which is a one and done thing. Like once the setup's done, which it's all done, and I figured out how to template everything so I don't have to do the same process next year. So everything I do, I just literally copy over and start afresh. So all the heavy lifting I think is kind of done.
Okay.
Which is where most of the time suck was this month. I think I can cut a lot of what they said was going to be 8 days a month down to like 4 by putting some of it and delegating it on someone else that's coordinating with the families, the 10 families that build each other's homes. Just in regards to like payables, AP, accounts payable. Because as things come in, like say they go out and get materials for the home to start doing framing. Say they got the foundations in, they're doing framing. I could have the person that is working with those families code to the exact budget item that they need, because they're going to know what the materials are on, say, like a Home Depot bill. They're going to know who ran there, who got it, and all that. And so I'm going to put that on their plate, I think, and have that all just like batched and ready to go. So all I have to do is review for a drawdown. So we draw down funds and pay it all out. So that's a thought. Not something I've really worked with yet, but.
So once I guess you don't think it's going to be a huge. I guess because what's your ultimate goal here? Is it to not do this job anymore, or would you like to?
Yeah, ultimately, I think I've just like reached a ceiling where I'm at with some of my skills and what I'm learning from the job. So I really care about affordable housing, but I'm a developer. I think that there's other tools that can help out the industry, and I'm more energized to see like something that could help multiple agencies throughout the country. Like that makes me feel a lot better than just my small little speck in the role here in Missoula, Montana, that somebody else could be doing and doing a really good job at. So I think the bigger picture for me is to find like other tools I can use to help out other agencies. So to leave the job and have another business that does that. So similar mission, just not direct with families here in Missoula.
Yeah, that seems like a logical next step.
With that in mind, do you think you've got everything prioritized? I can't really say because I'm not really sure what your job entails 100%.
I'm kind of a fucking mess at my job right now as far as priority goes. I'm just like taking out whatever fire I can at that moment instead of like saying what's coming down the pike and what should I be like putting my time towards now. So maybe I need to just take more time throughout the start of every day and really just look at my calendar for the next like 30 days and say what should be the biggest priority now so that I don't have a crazy week like I did last week. Because there's definitely stuff I can do ahead of time.
Yeah, in my corporate job, I'm kind of in a similar situation in which I lost that passion to be super productive at that job, and I didn't realize how that would translate outside my corporate job when I'm working on stuff that I care about. So I'm trying to very consciously use my day job hours to get better at productivity. And that's the the motivation that I have when I go to work is I want to learn how to become super productive, and I'm going to show up at work, and I have these play hours where someone's paying me in order to learn this skill, where it's a super important skill that I need to walk away with, and if I can learn this on someone else's dime, great. So
cool. What's the thing that you're learning?
Well, really, just being more productive. I'm using a bunch of different tactics to do that, but I signed up for Commit Action, which I don't know if you guys heard of that.
Peter Shallard?
Peter Shallard, yep. So I'm doing that, and I've got I haven't put that into any of my day job stuff yet, and I don't want to. I'm focused. I'm using that for foundation and other business stuff. But I am taking my day job more seriously in terms of productivity. Before I felt like I could just show up and be 40% me, and it would be good enough, And really, that's just a shitty habit to have in place. So before I leave every day, I write down my 3 things that I want to do for the next day. And as soon as I walk in, like I've got my triggers, I've got my routine down, and that's what I'm trying to build on right now. So maybe taking that kind of approach of look at it like a problem to solve, and a problem that by solving you're going to learn this invaluable skill that's going to serve you for the rest of your life.
I like that. Here, let me grab another pen. Something I just thought of while you were saying that is like, I have the opportunity right now with something new to set up systems, which is not something that is going to go away. Like, there's always things that you should build systems around if you can.
For sure.
So as I do things like the first time around, I should get a lot better at a standard operating procedure. And
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, as I'm doing all this, I should be writing it all down as I'm doing it, or like screen recording it for the next person that'll have this job.
Yeah, I mean that's another great skill to learn too. Learning how to create that structure for yourself, because when you're working for yourself, you're going to have to do that.
Absolutely. See, this is what I needed, guys. I knew that I was going to get something out of this. So I came into this call like feeling really low energy, like oh my gosh, I got to go back to my day job tomorrow. I'm like super bummed about it. But if I have a different outlook, like, oh, I can learn like more productivity hacks and how to build SOPs and systems around the new stuff I'm doing, that gives me a better intention for my day, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is good. This is what I needed. Sweet. Well, we spent about a half hour on me. How about we take another 15 minutes for each of you guys? Chris, tell me about what's been new, man. Any big wins for you in the last week or two?
Sure. So yeah, big wins. I told you about the commit action thing. I started at the first call on Monday, and from that I have lowered the perfectionism bar, which is huge for me, because the perfectionism bar is really just a way of taking action super slowly to the point where it's almost pointless,
I can identify.
Yeah. So I set a goal this week of spending at least, a laughably small goal of 15 minutes a day doing Kindle publishing stuff. And then I wanted to send my email marketing campaign that I'm doing for this solar energy company. I had built this campaign out, and I was waiting for this one last thing that I needed in order to make it perfect. But I would have been waiting. I'm going to be waiting indefinitely for that. So this week I was just like, all right, screw it. I'm sending it out as it is. We'll see what kind of response I get, and I'll iterate from there. And with that, I had one good response already. Someone replied back saying yes, they want to hear more about it, which is pretty much the extent of what I'm trying to do with my email marketing campaign. If I can get them to say, yes, I want to learn more about this, then it goes off to the sales team, and the sales team takes it from there. So have one person from the very first day responds back from the very first email saying, yes, I want someone to call me. I probably statistically that's worth $100 to me. I get paid on commission, and about 10% of leads get closed, and then if a lead is closed, they get paid about $1,000. So
did they help you break that
statistically,
down?
that's what's that?
Did they help you break that down?
Did who? The other company, you
break that down, or that kind of process, breaking it down into numbers and the actual dollar value of an action.
Yeah. So I guess the dollar value. I broke it down to the dollar value of the result, which maybe I should break it down. And once I get a better feel for click-through rates and conversion rates, all that, then I can break it down to the dollar value of an action that I'm taking, which I think will be a really good place to be. But yeah, I guess I could, just from that very small sample set, statistically, that was $100. If I just keep up with that, and I do that for weeks and weeks, and I get even just one person responding a week, then that's $400 a month, and it's something to start off with one client. So that's I was pretty happy to see that response with that first email, because I have a five email sequence, and to have someone respond back on the first one like that was pretty promising for me.
What is this?
Yeah, I was pretty pumped about that.
Marketing campaign for?
I am helping solar companies turn people who are interested in solar into customers.
Okay.
So it's lead nurturing, essentially. It's educating the customer, teaching them about solar, teaching them about weeding out the bad customers, the ones that wouldn't be a good fit for the solar company himself, and just being very a more passive but more effective means of getting quality customers.
Cool. And you're doing this on a commission basis?
Yeah, for the first client, they wanted to do it on commission basis. Ideally, I'd have it just set up as a monthly charge, monthly fee. But since I didn't really know how much value, well, I was pushing for it, but they really wanted a commission basis, which I just said, whatever, that's fine. First client, I'll figure out how much value I'm providing, and then be able to charge other people based on that.
Yeah. This is kind of a test run to see how much you can bring to the table.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, I was pretty happy that I finally just got that out the door. Because as I said, I'll hold myself back for a long time, waiting for things to be perfect. So I'm trying to push through that. And then another thing that I'm doing appreciation journaling, where every night I write down. And this is something that Andy and Julie talked about on the Foundation podcast a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I just listened to that. So you just sit and do at the end of your day, or do you do it at both the end
of my day is what I've been doing. Yeah, and just 2 minutes of whatever pops into my head. And really the main benefit of that is throughout the day you try and bookmark things that you say, oh man, this would be good for my appreciation journal, which makes you more aware of it throughout the day.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I've been keeping up with that. Main challenges I'm facing: creating consistency. That's something that I really struggle with. I really have a hard time building systems for myself. I'm much more of like I can thrive. I know that I thrive under systems. I do very well when I have structure in place, but I have a hard time artificially creating that structure. If that makes sense. And I find every excuse to do it.
Yeah.
It's well, I don't know what time I'm going to get home. This week I've got to go, I'm meeting this person for a happy hour. Like, there's always stuff that comes up that keeps me from creating a rock solid schedule, or even just a couple rock solid habits. Like, if I were to come home, whatever time that was, and then did, X, Y, and Z, and that just led me into my productivity routine, and I got even half an hour of work done, but I was just like a machine for that period. I feel pretty good about it. So that's the kind of stuff that I'm trying to build. And I'm using work as a testing ground as well.
Like your day job?
Yeah, my day job. So I know that when I get to work, I have a 7-minute walk from the parking lot to my desk. I'm going to go to the toaster. I'm going to put in my English muffins. I'm going to go to my computer, which is like 30 feet down the hall. I'm going to turn on my computer, wait there till it pulls up to log on screen, log in, go back, fill up my water bottle, grab my English muffins, spread the and just visualizing the entire thing to the point where right after I finish my breakfast, I just start with my most important task and just create that routine at work, and get good at creating those kind of routines. I really liked this. I read somewhere, I think it was maybe James Clear, and covered. If you guys haven't read this article and it's not familiar to you, let me know and I'll send it to you. But it was so good. It's about goals, the difference between process goals and like milestone goals. I thought it was an awesome mindset shift for me.
I just read that one. Yeah, not too long ago.
Is that the Entrepreneur? It's Entrepreneur magazine.
Yeah, he's an author.
Focus on process, not on goals.
Yeah. Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Much like the Peter Shallard stuff, you can because it's all about something that you have control over, right?
Exactly. It's something you have control over, and then you just know that the results will come as a result, if you do what you're supposed to be doing. And it makes it much more manageable. On X day, I just need to do whatever task. I also listened to a podcast with him. I forget which. I think it was he was on Scott Britton's podcast, The Competitive Edge. And I liked it a lot for his tips on how to get started, because I've always used that philosophy, but I didn't really believe it as strongly as I do now. And basically the philosophy that he uses a health analogy a lot, and the philosophy is first you want to build consistency and then you want to drive improvement. So just break it down. Don't try and push yourself to your edge the very first time. Your first, and I actually followed this past week. Your first, when you're trying to build a habit, just get consistency down. Don't try and do an hour straight of work. So I literally went to my gym, walked in, did 10 push-ups, and walked out. And I was like, because I'm trying to build a habit of just going to my gym, Tuesdays and Thursdays. Just start doing that, and then after doing that for Whatever. I'll give myself as long as I need because that's not a a priority for me to be able to do that. But I just want to be the type of person that goes to the gym on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I can build it up to a 10-minute routine next month, and then after that it can be 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and then I'm just going to have this rock solid routine. And before I'd feel some sort of, I don't know, shame or anxiety about it, anxiety about not improving fast enough, and now it's really shifted to, I've shifted my mindset to putting pressure on myself to accomplish that little task that little win, just, putting pressure on myself to do whatever minimal amount that I set for myself. So 15 minutes of Kindle publishing work, and usually it ends up being 45, but knowing that I can stop after 15 minutes if I've had a shitty day just makes it so much easier for me to get started.
Mm. And Chris, I don't think I caught what you're working with Kindle publishing. Do you have a topic and all that figured out, or is that what you're working on now, or?
So I picked a topic. I am in the outlining phase and then hiring a writer. So I've got the topic that I'm going to start with is brewing beer. And again, this is where perfectionism comes in, because I start looking at it, I'm like, all right, well, this doesn't quite fit everything. His entire outline. My book's going to be pretty shitty. There's already like 400-page books on here that are, ideal. So I have really a hard time just doing the same thing. And yeah, it's paralyzing. So I am redefining success, I'm changing my definition of success from selling books to, first, my definition of success is getting a book out there, even if it's 0 people buy it, right? Even if it's the shittiest book in the world, that's step 1, showing up at the gym, and then get that going consistently, and step 2 is going to be doing things that improve the process. And it's,
so you have your outline already figured out?
What's that?
You have your outline already figured out of the book?
I know what I've got a basic outline figured out.
Cool. I'm just asking. I've done a book before. I know the outline process was like arduous for a little bit. I was like, I don't know how to structure it, blah, 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 and I ran across something that was like simple. They're just like, don't take more than like 20 minutes to do this. This is how you're going to do it. I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess I won't then.
Oh, man, yeah, I'd like to see that, because I think that's, I have like the chapters that I want to do, but I don't think maybe it's not
actually,
outlined.
So this is the outline of my book, like right here. All I did is take 12 like simple note cards and say, what are 12 things that, as like someone that doesn't know anything about this topic, what are 12 things that I should know about this topic? Or like, what questions do I have? And form them as questions, because people will like search on there for questions.
Right.
And so like, your chapters will come out of these 12 things, and they'll just be questions. Like, what do I need to know about materials? What do I need to know about the environment space to brew it? What do I, like, do that? And then just say, out of those 12, do like another 3 cards, and just say what 3 things in this, would fill out this, chapter. And then have your VA go out and research about those 3 things on each chapter. And it literally took me like 20 minutes. I was like, holy fuck, this was gold.
That's awesome.
And I like the fact that it was like pen and paper. I didn't get like distracted in the internet world.
Right. Yeah.
If that helps, it worked great for me.
Is that with your first book?
Yeah.
The one that you showed me.
Yeah, the one about food cart startups.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah. Well, that's cool.
Yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at.
Sweet. Any other feedback or things you need? Sounds like you're kind of answering some of yourself. what you already need to do?
Yeah, I'd say that the hardest thing that I struggle with is the distractions, is saying no to things, and feel like there are 100 different habits that I can implement tomorrow that's gonna rewrite my life, but just focusing on one thing at a time and being patient with
It sounds
that.
like the Peter Shallard like system was a pretty good thing to keep you accountable to like taking consistent action. So I'd say
For
give that a
sure.
couple of weeks and let's see what your tone is on the subject in like 2 weeks from now.
Fair enough.
All right, Drew, you gonna give us an update, man? Where you at? What you up to? How was your week?
Hmm. I don't think I'm gonna have 15 minutes for you guys. No, I didn't. I didn't do much, unfortunately. I'm like in the perpetual what is this all about kind of cycle. I'm getting into this. I'm starting to dissolve into this really philosophical circle. I mean, this is my greatest danger is that I tend to dive deep into meaning and then I don't really action on anything. Um, which is kind of something I guess I wanted to bring up to you guys. What would you have as a person who's kind of maybe facing perpetual crisis of meaning? Because I'm certainly not happy with the current job. So I'm thinking maybe I should just get a different job. But in that spirit, what would be the best job that? Here's an even more basic question. I know people always say you can be happy in your environment, wherever you are, you can be happy, right? Viktor Frankl found happiness in the concentration camp.
Hmm.
Relative happiness, I suppose.
We found
Now,
meaning.
given
Difference
found
between meaning and
meaning,
happiness.
true. Okay. That's a good point. But
That's a good question.
what the difference? So, what are the benefits of staying where you are as opposed to just changing everything, changing environment, changing maybe even moving, changing
So
jobs, changing cities?
here's a question. Describe to me your energy and where you're at when you walk into your day job to like till say like lunchtime. Like how do you physically like feel? How do you feel with your energy level and your vibration? Like where are you at from like beginning to noon?
Like my life is slowly ending. I wish I could say it better than that, but actually that's probably the best way to put it. I'm thinking, man, this is not healthy.
And you work for your dad, right? Like it's your dad's company?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I guess that's a fair way of saying it. I couldn't agree.
Well, it's your dad's practice or however they call it in the industry.
Yeah. So I help him out, and there's because he trusts me. There's a lot he's willing to hand over to me. So at some points he can actually kind of almost walk away from the business, hands off. Although he still handles a lot of the more sensitive stuff himself. But energy wise, it's not good, and I've struggled with this a lot. On ways that there's always something you can do, like finding gratitude in your day. Like I did the 5 minute journal. You guys did that too, right? 5 minute journal.
I don't know what was that on one of Andy's podcasts? I keep hearing about it. But I don't know. I don't know.
Oh no, it was. I think. Are you a pro member, Kevin? You are, right?
No.
They
Okay.
mailed it to everyone.
They did?
Yeah. Yours must have gotten lost in the mail, Kevin. You had to fill out. Maybe you missed the link to fill out the. You had to fill out your address, and then they mailed it to you.
Oh,
Oh.
shoot. You know what? I moved in the middle of the foundation. I wonder if it went to my old house.
That would have been a
Bummer.
bad for you.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
But I did the 5-minute journal, and I actually didn't find it helpful. Even though I did it every day fairly faithfully. In fact, it was kind of depressing every time I did it. I couldn't figure out why it wasn't working.
Did you ever have that feeling of satisfaction or excitement working where you are now?
No, it's been a while.
Have you ever felt that in your life?
I have. Oh yeah, certainly, to be sure. But it's been a while. I'd say ever since I.
Well, what kind of situations were you in which you felt that?
I think any situation where I was trying to improve or at least progress in something. So when it was, ironically, when I got hired at Lehman Brothers, I was probably really happy when I got this points in my life. That quickly changed. So Lehman Brothers kind of sucked the life out of me.
But yeah, no, you felt
But
excited, like it was an
oh
accomplishment.
yeah, oh yeah, sure. I mean, it was huge. I kind of thought, oh wow, I'm doing it. This is like this is life, Or when I was doing when I'm taking a class or something like that. I think that's why I enjoyed university so much, is because it was like a constant cycle of learning, accomplishment, grades, start again, learning, and self-growth and a lot of that. But I haven't experienced a lot of that for the past 4 years. And then it's certainly in, oh gosh, I'm going to say in the M word. So,
Right.
because my current crisis is, can I find happiness here? Can I find, or that sense of progress and growth? And I feel like I keep on bumping into that wall as well. My gut says kind of run away, and I don't know if that's the answer. Run away meaning like, because I tend to do this in my life. People reinvent themselves, which they say.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of well beyond my reinvention deadline, which I'm wondering is the cause of it all.
The cause of it all being that you are beyond
this feeling
the
of
deadline.
Yeah, the cause of this semi-depression, which so I think a lot of the foundation experience I have now is primarily in the spiritual kind of realm. So I really identify with kind of Erica. I think she really embraces the spiritual mindset side. Like last week she said she was living a triple life. She wants to be an entrepreneur, an elementary teacher, and a hippie.
Is that what she said last week? I could totally see that in her.
She did. And
totally
she's like shiny object syndrome. But for me, I think it's just a regaining of kind of self-worth.
That's
excitement over life.
I think that I mean, obviously you've thought about this 1,000 times more than you're able to share with us in a 15-minute
Probably, yeah,
window.
probably healthy.
Right?
More than is healthy enough. I would think.
But that being said, a couple of things stuck out to me, and one of them being your explanation or your description for the cause, the root of this depression that you're feeling, this mild depression, and it resonated with me because I definitely have been there myself, and it comes at for me it comes at times where I am acting out of sync with my values, and what suffers as a result of that is my self-esteem, my self-worth. If I feel as though the way that I'm acting is betraying things that are important to me, then I feel bad about myself, and then it starts that cycle. So there are a couple ways out of that, and I recently went through this. One of them being reframing what success was, and reframing what climbing out of where I was. So it's accepting where I am, where I was right then, saying, all right, this is the situation I'm in. Also being kind enough to myself to say that if I set a goal of making $10,000 next month in a side business, I will fail. Right? So set my goal of taking 15 minutes of consistent action each day. And if I take 15 minutes of consistent action each day, then I will allow myself to be proud.
So make progress of any sort, even though if it's an inch, then take the inch, but make sure you move an inch.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think Chris brings up a good point of like, what are some actionable things or steps that could help improve? Whether it's just like taking 5 minutes to just like look in the mirror and say, anything that comes to mind that has been good in your life, or that you feel grateful for, or that people have said they admire about you, just to help with the self-esteem portion of things, because it seems like that is also suffering with you. Of I don't know. It seems not just with your job, but also with marriage and those two together. You're unhappy, and it's dragging you down, and it's one of those things where the self-image of who you are can improve before those other things come along, like having a different job, or the marriage getting better or getting sorted out. If you start feeling better about yourself, you can be present and be there with both of those things, and have better intention and a higher level of energy to pour into both of those things. So I'm just trying to think of what actionable steps maybe we could help you with that would just help out with the self-esteem portion.
Let me ask you guys another question, because I noticed this yesterday. And I don't consider myself as a lazy guy in some aspects. But recently, it's been really hard to find the motivation to do like a lot, or any even small things. Like any spare moment on my day, I'd rather drink a beer or turn on Netflix and start watching The Walking Dead. And there's just an aversion.
Let me ask you this.
It's uncharacteristic. It's weird. It's almost like how I feel. Andy did all that work for 6 years, and then not 6 years, 6 months, 6 weeks, or something like that. he blew himself out in 6 weeks and then couldn't do anything for like a whole week. But that kind of, have you ever felt like that where you just like didn't want to think of anything, or had struggles, you know, when I say struggle with the purpose of meaning or the crisis of meaning, that's when I really feel it. Is I have a spare moment and I'm thinking, well, I guess I could sit down and you know, go over my why again, but oh my gosh, I don't see the point. It's almost that kind of internal conversation.
What?
Sorry, Chris, you were going to say something?
Yeah, I just had a clarifying question to gain a little more of an understanding of what's going through your head. What goes through your head when you do accomplish something that's important to you? And it doesn't have to be major, just a little win. Let's say if you were in my shoes and you did 15 minutes of Kindle publishing work, what would you think?
I think I'd have to. I don't know. I wouldn't be satisfied with myself. You know, it's just that
That's exactly the
redefining
answer. Yeah.
or I wouldn't allow myself to be happy.
Yeah. So I see a lot of the way that I respond to the way that I motivate myself in what you were saying, and I suspected that that's how you would answer because I very much was the same way and the same way to a large extent. And no matter what I did, it was a reminder of how deficient I am in terms of my goals. So even taking steps forward and accomplishing things I had this just negative response to it, this internal revulsion of well, look at how shitty you are and look at how far away you are from living the life that you want. Are you really going to be proud of this?
Yeah, or is this even like contributing towards? Is this just progress?
Yeah, like, are you really going to be proud of spending 15 minutes doing this stupid? Like, that's the kind of things that would go through my head, you know. And the same thing with going to the gym. Are you really going to be proud of going and doing 10 push-ups? You little bitch. That's the kind of talk that I had going on in my head. And if you had a coach like that, you would fire his ass. There's no chance that you just have to accept where you are. There's no chance you're gonna get better if that's the kind of if you were met with just revulsion, self-revulsion.
Kevin, can you hear him?
No. Chris, are you still there?
I think maybe.
Well, he had a problem earlier before you got on, where it cut out on him. But to speak to that,
you guys lost me for a second?
Oh yeah, now you're back.
Oh, there you go.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. So you're talking about self-revulsion?
Lost me?
Yeah, for a minute.
All right. Yeah, just that. Yeah, how can you expect yourself to be motivated if that's the way that you respond to your successes? And that's not meant to be a judgmental thing. I think it's a natural, not natural, but it's a common response that people have, and it's almost stoic in a way. It's like I'm gonna be, I'm gonna be hard on myself because I want to be really successful, but treating yourself that way is, you're not doing yourself any favors.
Mm.
Does that resonate with you at all? Does that make sense?
No, it does. I guess the original question I also had was, the original question that I also had was, have you ever had this feeling where you just, I don't know, your natural resistance to temptation or doing other things, like, it just seemed lower, and so you're just constantly distracted, because that's kind of how I feel now.
Yeah, I've definitely felt that.
And what was the cause, and how did you get out of it?
I mean, it was mostly due to like severe alcohol-related offenses, and like a girlfriend had left me that we were dating for a good 3 years, and I was in like a really depressed state with like not being able to figure out how to get to my work because I didn't have a license. My girlfriend left me. Like everything I did was just like, it felt so heavy, even just to like get out of bed in the morning to just go take a shower. I just felt so depressed, and the energy that was sucking me dry was just based on like all these emotions that I had bottled up that I wasn't like looking at and figuring out inside me. I mean, ultimately, I ended up seeking help with like a counselor. I know you've been working with one. But yeah, I think the answers all kind of came from within. They weren't like an external thing. And I think it's true for a lot of things that seem painful, or like doing work seems to have more pain than pleasure, and so you're avoiding doing it or putting it off because you either think like, what's the point, or is this even going to be worth it, or and I think that just comes from a space of the energy that's being consumed over the emotions that are not being dealt with in some other area. And that is an unprofessional opinion. I am not a doctor.
You guys are awesome. You guys are actually right on.
I mean, I'm just going from experience. I needed to like just look at that thing that was like consuming me and deal with my emotions around it. And it's like like my emotions are the thing that I have control over. I don't have control over that other person, or like external factors like a court system, or the ex-girlfriend that left you, or like all I could work on was just what I had going on inside and how I like reacted to those things. And it's not like a one night thing. It's like it takes twice as long to undo it than to like begin.
But that's what I'm really struggling with. It's funny because when I was in Colorado Springs, I don't know, it felt like a huge kind of lift off of me, and I started to get motivated to do stuff again. As soon as I came back into the old environment, and I was able to sustain it for a bit. But
I mean, that's
I don't know. That's what makes me think like maybe I really gotta switch things up.
I think that's what Andrew was talking about when he was talking about the Tony Robbins, the steps he walked through when we were at that house in Boulder. Like some of his stuff is on just like a state changer, and how going to the event is like getting you out of your environment and allowing you to change your state. so that you can receive like that motivation and the energy that's being surrounded by us. So like in our day-to-day lives, when we go back, we go back into a same pattern, whether that's just with thought or routine or how we behave. And so we sometimes need things to change our state to disrupt the pattern that we have going on. And I don't know what that is for you, but like, something as silly as soon as you start feeling the idea of like, oh, I don't want to do that, you just like get up and do like 10 jumping jacks and say, I'm going to commit to just getting up and doing 10 jumping jacks to like change my state so I don't go back into that same pattern of I don't want to do that, or what the fuck's the point, or it's to like break that cycle of thought.
Mm.
And so that you're able to say like, oh, okay, let me look at this perspective. Is this the angle I want to take looking at this? I have that choice.
Yeah, man, learn helplessness. It's tough. You gotta like unlearn all that stuff.
Yeah, one step at a time, man.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I don't want to come here and just steal a lot of what your mojo and your ideas. So I did want to contribute something. So there's a video. This concept is something that I discovered the past weekend, or past week, which is called the Hero's Journey. There is, I can't remember the author, but the book is called The Hero of 1,000 Faces. Oh, The Hero with 1,000 Faces? Let me cheat and look up his name now. Joseph Campbell was his name. He's actually a guy who passed away here in Honolulu. The Hero with 1,000 Faces. But basically, it's the idea that there's myths, the hero myth that occurs in all cultures. It follows like a reoccurring pattern, no matter what culture. There's just something universal about it, and it's something that can be applied to your own life. And it's the hero story kind of goes through the cycle, and a prime example is Star Wars, where he receives a call, he refuses the call, he doesn't want to go. Then things happen where it's kind of he receives an outside something from the outside comes and helps him once he decides to kind of venture out even a little, and it pushes them through a threshold, and then he's kind of dragged throughout this journey, and he's reborn eventually, and then he goes back to where he's from at some point, and he does a return. But that same cycle, this video kind of approaches it as if you can apply that cycle to your own life. What is this? The wisdom of the ages, or the wisdom of the elders. What are they passing down to you through this story? Yeah, you might not be Ulysses trying to get home. You might not be Luke Skywalker, but as Chris and Kevin and Drew, where is the story in your life? How is it applying to your life? Are you refusing the call? And can you look at these things? For me, I don't know. I like stories. I enjoy movies. So this particular, the idea of a hero, it resonates with me. And I guess looking at the recent glut of Marvel and DC movies, I'm guessing it probably resonates with a lot of other people too. So hopefully you get some value out of it. It's a real short video.
Cool.
But
I'm definitely gonna check that out.
And you could totally turn that into a self-help idea, a coaching idea.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm just reading the synopsis
Cool.
at the bottom of it right now. More crucial events that make or break a hero. Huh.
And you
Yeah,
can actually go through a lot of a lot of movies that you wouldn't even think would apply. I don't know. I really like Fight Club, so I took Fight Club and I basically tried to mark down each little scene that I remember from the movie. That okay, here's his refusal of the call. The call is he can't sleep. He's got a problem. His refusal of the calls, he doesn't want to. He's actually kind of burrowing into himself. He's anesthetizing himself with self-help groups. Then he meets who's the supernatural help, which is Tyler Durden. He meets him, and then when he passes that threshold, is the first fight that they have, and he begins to awaken, and he's able to sleep, and he finds he doesn't need self help anymore. I don't know. You guys have both seen it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Chris, have you seen it? I don't want to ruin it for you. Just,
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's one of those that you get more and more of each time you watch it.
Yeah.
Which I like.
I mean, I don't know. It was actually kind of a neat thing, kind of going to do. It was also a neat way of getting me to do my why again, to re-explore and think, oh, okay, wait, because a story, your identity, your why, stories are important. You've got to identify with a story, be it a story in your own life or a story in somebody else's life.
Drew, do you feel comfortable reading your why in front of us?
I don't really have a. The why was a document that I said was alive, but it's alive in a jar that I've sealed away. Hold on a second. I don't mind.
Yeah.
Although I feel like it's
no
radically different from what I.
Because you sent us one like 6 months ago, right? Like when we first were hanging out. And I would like to just like see where you're at and like the evolution of where you've gone from that first iteration to like what you're thinking and feeling now.
There's my why. It's shared, yeah. Um, okay, so I feel like a lot of this stuff is. No, I'll just read it to you. I don't want to throw any ideas out there. So it's to create value and contribute to the world, to be able to see value around me and help others. I want to run in my life. I want to regain a mindset of abundance. I want to be my own boss. I want to make something of my own. I want to figure out a third way of making income, not just 9 to 5. I want the freedom to see more and learn more in the world. I want to help care for my parents and relatives. I want to change my mindset into that of an entrepreneur. I want to change my habits to be healthier and more productive. I want to make up for the time I lost these past 3 years. I want to be free from financial worry, feelings of inadequacy, free from working as an employee. I want to prove to myself I can do this. I want to be independent of my parents and family. Did I read that? Oh no, okay. I want to contribute to the foundation and make myself a part of this community. I want to help create an entrepreneurial community in Hawaii. And I must take action. Taking action is my word out of the.
Awesome. How do you feel after reading that?
I can just feel that it feels like somebody who had just heard of the foundation. I think I don't want to say it sounds immature, but it sounds like something I would have written 6 months ago. I feel like it's brushing the surface of something.
So you went to the Unique Why workshop thing, right?
You mean in the live event?
Yeah, it's a live event.
I went through a portion of it, but I left midway.
Were you there when I don't even remember what the guy's name is, but he was talking about how your unique Y often will not have the word I in it.
Peter?
Yeah, I think that's his name.
Peter, and actually, I can't remember his last name. Peter Nicola, right?
There you go. Yeah, yeah, that guy.
Okay.
And while I was kind of like, oh, well, I don't really know about that, and I was, my mindset was like, I'm not really sure if that would resonate with me. I tried to think about it and think, what is the greater thing I'm driven for?
Yeah, exactly.
And I feel like that, like from what I know of you over the last 6 months, that speaks to me. Like there's something underneath that you are called to do. Because with your Enneagram and like your just intention to just give to the group without asking for anything, but like you are obviously someone that's looking to serve. And I'm not sure what that calling is for you, but I think that is something you should explore on what you're driven to like provide service to. That's just my outside perspective of knowing you every week for the last 6 months now. And I think that would really be like a powerful thing in your why.
Thanks for that insight. Why doesn't it really include the word I?
Because a lot of these statements are like, I want. And it's
Yeah,
like, well,
yeah.
what can I give? And just like look to that first. And then I'm sure magically a lot of those bullet points will just be fulfilled in some other way. I don't know, just food for thought.
No, thanks, Kevin. No, that's really good, actually. Thank you.
Yeah. What was
I,
what was the title to your Enneagram again? Was it like what was it, a 6? No,
no, it was a
3,
4,
4.
which is, yeah,
The helper.
no, 2 is the helper. That's Erica.
Okay.
Although I guess that's the second. I was very close to the helper.
Yeah, isn't it in alignment with your like
I was,
your
the 4
complementary
was like a
stuff?
unique, it's the individualist. There we go, that's what it is, it's called. It's called the individualist, kind of like maybe that's why the hero's journey, that whole, that message kind of resonates with me, because I like to think of myself as like the unique snowflake. Uh, but I can't remember what it's like a lot of artists are, just looking at a lot of the famous people, there are a lot of artists and musicians, poets, writers, that sort of thing.
Cool, Chris. Thanks for joining us. I'll stay on here with you for a little longer, but go out and crush it
Thanks,
this weekend.
Chris. Yeah,
Yeah,
man. Thanks you got awesome insights.
Definitely.
yeah. Sorry, I'm gonna try and relocate for next week because this is I don't know if it's my connection, but it's been pretty crappy. So, um, but yeah, good talking to you guys, and we'll look forward to next Sunday.
Definitely, dude.
Thanks, man. Awesome
Yeah, thanks for the
insights.
feedback.
All right, catch you guys
Cool.
soon.
Yeah.
All
Later,
right.
Chris.
Bye.
So Drew, wait, where were we at? I just got interrupted there.
Enneagram.
Enneagram, yeah. Drew, the individualist.
Sorry, can you hold on one second? I'll be right back.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
No, you're good.
Okay. Well, I was just thinking, as I stepped away, that Chris is he's an awesome contribution to the team.
Yeah.
Good insights.
Yeah, I think he's a well-rounded fit for what we were looking for. So I was really stoked to hear that he was looking for a group, and Coway also had a different conversation with him about him joining, and so yeah. He's like that tactical thing that David brought to the table.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking that it's a good fit in that way.
But
which is a perfect replacement for, not only say replacement for David, but if he fills David's shoes really well.
Yeah. Yeah, I like his energy. He seems to have a really good outlook on where he wants to go with things. I think his mission's cool. Yeah. I'm glad. It's tough to find someone that's a good fit for your group. The team means everything. And that goes for a mastermind team.
Place everything. Marriage,
yeah.
Company.
Yeah. Kickball, which is really important, obviously. I have kickball starting up tomorrow.
Are you guys?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. So
hey.
I'm looking forward to it. But
do they allow bunting for men?
I don't know. I have to bring that up. I'm gonna guess not. I'm gonna guess bunting's a no-go in this league.
Yeah, they used to allow bunting for men, but it got impossible to get people out.
Yeah.
So if they allow it, then try it.
Well, I mean, if that's the case, then we'll just have somebody short at all times. I mean, our catcher's pretty solid. I'm pretty okay with him if we someone's bunting. But
you enjoy it. It's good fun. Sorry, did you have something to say, or what was the?
So, I was curious about the individualist thing. If you still had it up, and if you were looking at that, because I was really intrigued by what it said about the type of person that you are and how that fit, and I think that has a lot of truths in it that would speak to where not just how you're beating yourself up and and struggling in an area, because didn't it have something also to do with if you're really having a trial in a certain area of life that spilled over and consumed everything else that was going on? Or I want to say whatever you told me about it was damn spot on. And some of the things you're experiencing, if you go back to that and look at it, I think would really.
No, I don't want to do it. I was thinking, man, I don't want to be a sensitive, introspective type.
Well, shit. I don't want to be a winner either, but apparently that's what I am. I'm the guy that. That's what this thing said. I don't remember what it was. The achiever. The achiever.
Yeah.
But it's we don't want those worst parts of ourselves, is what it is.
Oh, here we go. Boys typically have problems with a negative self-image and chronically low self-esteem. They attempt to compensate for this by cultivating a fantasy self. No wonder that's why Fight Club resonates with me.
Wait, say that again? I missed part of that.
Oh, hold on a second. Let me just there you go.
More typical problems with negative self-image and chronically low self-esteem. They attempt to compensate for this by cultivating a fantasy self. an idealized image which they built up primarily in their imaginations. Yeah, dude, this thing's spot on for you. Everything else you've told me about this is just spot on for you. You should like take I don't know, the rest of
look at this.
The last hour of tonight or something and just soak some of that in and see what comes about. I'm going to do the same thing. Now that we're talking about this, maybe I should just go back and... Because a lot of that was just spot on for me, too. And I was not in a receptive place to look at any of it, either. Because a lot of the things that were problem issues, I was just like, okay, check. Okay, cool. Move on to the next thing. And that's a pretty typical thing for me to do. But I didn't really soak it in.
Oh, this is... Yeah, it's almost spooky in a way. In fact, I started looking at other Enneagram types in kind of hopes that I would kind of fit something else.
Be like, no, I want to be that one.
Yeah. No, wait. Maybe this one's me. No.
Yeah, like if I read yours, like this would not be me. So I think it's pretty true that like whatever system they got figured out is working.
Which one's the Achiever? The Achiever's a...
Achiever's like I don't know what the hell it is. Let me find it.
Type 3.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds right. It was like 3, 6, or 9, something like that. Where'd you find that?
Just Google Achiever and Enneagram, and then it takes it. There's the EnneagramInstitute.com.
Okay, yeah, type 3. So, basic fear of being worthless. Basic desire to feel valuable and worthwhile. Key motivations: I want to be affirmed, to distinguish themselves from others, to have attention, to be admired, and to impress others.
But I don't feel like you're an attention-hungry kind of guy.
Nah, that I wouldn't say is true. I would say I do want to be affirmed.
What here strikes you in the as just going quickly through the overview? Is there anything here that particularly resonates with you?
I'm a slow reader. So it may take me. Threes are often successful and well-liked because of all types. They most believe in themselves and in developing their talents and capacities. I would say that's very true for me. Like I really believe in myself and I know I can do better and use what I have. And threes act as living role models and paragons.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Well, in a way, you're kind of the leader of our group, right?
Yeah, I just like
you're the one who took the initiative to reach out to everyone. Together.
I mean, part of that's I just want to impress others here, Drew.
I'm impressed. Just let you know, I'm impressed.
Look, you see, I think deep down I really do feel that. Even though I'm too humble to say that. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
I consider myself a fairly humble person.
You are.
But I think deep down I do that. Like I have like some need to try and impress other people. And I think I've always had that. And it's probably out of fear of a lot of things. What was the basic fear? The fear of being worthless.
You put your feelings in a box so you can get ahead with what you want to achieve.
Oh, is that what it says in here?
It's... I don't have a
I'm looking at the overview right now. Anyway, so I think long story short is a lot of this really does speak to me, and I think it'd be useful for me to go through, and I would suggest doing it for yourself. It seems spot on everything you told me in your Enneagram. And if there's anything in here, so I'm looking at, like, for mine, the type 3, it's like healthy levels, average levels, and unhealthy levels.
Yeah.
You should send out, like, your unhealthy levels to the group, so if we sense any of that going on.
Punch me in the gut. Stop it.
Yeah. Quit it. Maybe that's good, yeah. I mean, that's something that we're here to do, is just hold each other up. Like, I really care about you and where you go.
Dude, this level 7 of unhealthy levels, that's where I feel right now.
Read aloud. Here, I'm not looking at yours. Let me look at yours.
Here. When dreams fail, become self-inhibiting and angry at self, depressed and alienated from self and others, locked and emotionally paralyzed, ashamed of self, fatigued and unable to function.
Huh. So you're at a 7. This is bad. This is not good. Yeah. Huh.
But that's, I mean, it's not like that every day, but just as an example, sometimes I think of just like cutting out of the Sunday meetings because I don't have anything to offer.
Yeah, and that's.
But I come because I feel like I need to. Gotta fill up the ranks.
Well, one, like, it helps keep the group together.
Yeah.
Because even if you didn't have something to contribute, you not showing up affects the rest of us. Because we think, well, what's wrong with us that he doesn't want to come? And then 2, we start to see, like, oh, well, that person didn't come. Like, not even thinking about Drew as a person, but, like, that person doesn't come. Where's my commitment level? Well, it's okay for someone else not to come, so maybe it's okay for me. You know what I mean? Like, if people start dropping out, then the rest of the organism starts to, like, suffer.
Yeah.
The group as a whole. And so, like, you showing up is great for everyone. No matter if you just sit and listen, it's really good for us to be consistent.
Right. No, I agree. I wholly agree. There's nothing worse than having a party and nobody shows up, right?
Yeah. We've probably had meetings too where, like, a meeting when someone doesn't show up. It's like, well,
oh, sure.
Well, fuck, I won't show up. You know. But you always bring, like, a good insight to the group. Like, you're always willing to help other people. You're not like, oh, what can I get out of this? Some people are just straight takers, and you're not a taker. Like, well, what am I getting out of this group? You know, like, that's not you.
No, I feel like I take. Yeah, I feel like I get my share. But I don't. Maybe you're right. I mean, from my point of view, I feel like I get a lot of insight.
You get your share, but we don't, like, you're not pulling our teeth to give it to you. You know?
Sure. There you go. You're
not begging us to give it to you. You may secretly want it, but I don't think I've ever had a hangout with you that I felt you were being needy.
Tell me again about how much you like Kevin. No. Say more good things about me, please. No.
So, Drew, just to recap on this, I really think that there's something underneath that, like, you feel strong about. And I say that with, like, a question mark tone at the end, because I don't know how strong. But, like, if you search through all, like, the different things that are, like, you feel is good to serve for, like, just write down the things that you think are worth putting time in. If you're going to give one shot in life to, like, actually make some sort of impact.
Totally.
Because you seem like someone that's like, yeah, I can get behind something that makes impact. Some people are out to make money and have a good life. You're out to have meaning.
I like money.
Yeah,
I like
money's
good life.
good.
I like
Money's
money.
good. Money's good. True. You can do more things when you have money, as in like be able to find creative and helpful ways to serve. But I really do feel that you're like driven for a mission. I think you're just struggling with other stuff right now, and so that's not, top on the totem pole of things that are priority. So it starts with like the taking care as well. And I know that things with the M word are definitely in a spot where it's consuming you.
Yeah, I don't know if I can let her. Yeah, I don't know. That's just anyway, that's like a whole other.
Yeah, that's a whole other hour.
I don't pay you to. I pay somebody else to.
No,
sit there and listen to me.
but I care about that. Like,
No, I understand.
you're a friend now. You're not just some dude that's a student. And I'm like, oh, cool, I got a student that I'm talking with, or someone that knows my strife in the foundation. It's like, you're a friend of mine now. I care about your well-being. And so when things aren't going good, it's like, man, I really just want to have things good in your life. I don't know what that is for you, but it's definitely not in the place where the M word's, a feeling of like pain or suffering.
I think I can turn that around. I don't know how.
I mean, that's another thing with the state changer. Like, go look up, like, where the fuck is that video? That was such a powerful one for me at the time, because I was, like, I was really depressed in my job, like, a while back, and I was, like, watching Mr. T. Robbins preach about state changing. And it really just, like, snapped me out of it. I was like, okay, I do have things I can do to stop this pattern so that it's not just the circular thing. Like, I'm just constantly going through the same thing over and over again.
I'm sure if I stick that phrase, Tony Robbins, state change of state.
Change your state, Tony Robbins. Oh, there's a bunch of things if you just Google that.
Yeah.
There's a video that comes up from Oprah. There's a whole training. How to create a breakthrough in any area of your life. Yeah, there's plenty of stuff about it, but it was really helpful. I mean, one of the things was like a story of like somebody that would like come to them and need coaching because they're like really depressed. It was like, I don't remember, it was like a sports figure where they were like they went from, maybe it was in Formula One racing or something. It was like Formula One racing, and the guy was like #1 for years on end, and then he just was like one year just like down at the bottom of the pack, like number 50 or something all of a sudden. And long story short is he was just stuck in this like pattern of I can't be #1 anymore. And so he's coming to Tony with this like issue of like, how do you're the guru on mindset, like fix my mindset. And then he would just ask him like silly questions like, what's your favorite color? Or like, I don't know, just random questions. I mean, what he was trying to do is just like break him out of his pattern of thought. It was mostly just to say like, as you're thinking about something, if something interrupts it, that helps break the cycle. Whether it's like getting up and doing jumping jacks instead of like sulking over the same thoughts over and over again, or like going for a walk, or like, and I think he goes into like hypnotist, or not hypnotist, but what was the guys that like help people get over their fear? If like someone's afraid of snakes and they bring a snake out, but they like try and scare them, it like changes their states. They're talking about snakes and then they scare them. And then they're talking about snakes again and then they scare them. and then they somehow like disassociate that same pattern of thought.
I'm not sure. I'm not hypnotist. Okay, but in any case, yeah, the point you're trying to make is that it's a disassociation of feelings with a certain associated with something that's firmly established now, but you want to change that constant negative feelings with, for example, selling for whatever reason.
Yeah. If I was like to think about a sales call and like somebody's like, all right, well let's envision you picking up the phone and doing a sales call, and then they say like, okay, close your eyes. Okay, close my eyes. I'll picture you picking up the phone call. Okay, I'm picking up the phone. I'm asking the guy, what's his name, blah, blah. And then somebody throws a bucket of water on me to like instantly change my state. Now I'm gonna be like, holy shit, why the hell did you just throw water on me? Like I'm gonna like snap out of what I was thinking of. It's gonna try and break the pattern of thought. So instead of like going through the same thing again, like, and it's helpful to have someone else with you as you're like doing the thought or the pattern of thinking that's going on. And I don't really like the term like going through like thoughts and thinking because it's also associated with like emotions, and that's really what you're disassociating is really the emotion I think behind it.
Yeah.
To like try and change the state of like, okay, thought equals this emotion, and so like you're going like, okay, thought, and then but you instead of going to like depression, you go into surprise because you just got a bucket of water thrown on you. You know what I mean? Anyway, I don't know where I'm going with this other than like I'm trying to come up with things that we can test out and try.
So, well, yeah, no. Let me check out the Tony Robbins video. Let's just start, and then certainly like going over the Enneagram again.
Yeah.
Revisiting, changing the Y up so that how can I eliminate? How can I take I out of the equation? What is this here?
I think I need to do that. Son of a bitch. It's like a mirror image here. I need to like figure out my why where like I am not in the statement.
Because looking at it, it looks very like a level 1 person who just starts out, in the foundation adventure. I want to be sipping martinis on.
Yeah, it's like I want the tactics, I want the I want the strategy,
yeah.
I want, and so then I can have the big Maserati. And instead, it's like, no, my why is to, for me, it's like I guess on the fly here, it'd be like to serve low-income families with affordable housing. And just like that simple.
Yeah.
And if that's like calls to you, you'll know.
Focus.
I mean, it's got to be something that like really calls to you, because if it's kind of like meh, obviously like when shit gets tough and shit hits the fan, you're gonna be like, this is stupid. I'm not putting more time into this. You know what I mean? Like when the going gets tough, it's got to be something that's really like, yeah, this is worth my my effort and my energy. I'm trying to like take the Rob Scott approach on a lot of things I do now and saying like I only got one trial in life. There's no test run.
Yeah.
Like, is this what I should be doing right now, or am I pissing away all my time?
Nobody gets out of here alive.
No.
Yeah. But on the other hand, death, death is scary, but everything under that is, is it going to kill you? No. And a lot of things that seem real are just constructions. Like, look at Lehman, man. That's like the go-to example. All those senior vice presidents and everybody who just seemed, their identity was tied in with Lehman Brothers. When it's gone. So what was it all? What did it all mean?
Yeah,
it certainly wasn't you. Are you, what you as a senior vice president? What does that mean? What meaning does that hold? It really doesn't hold that much meaning.
Nothing. Like, what are you serving other than your pocket?
Yeah, exactly.
Like nothing. They were not like doing banking to serve like charitable exploration of space or some fucking other greater mission. No, it was just to make a bunch of money. And now that mission is dead.
And it was killing them, ironically.
Yeah, and I think that's pretty true with all of us. It's like the 7 deadly sins or whatnot. Like you got greed, you got lust, and like all these other ones that like they're pleasurable in the moment, but they are killing you, kind of thing. And that's how I'm trying to like shift my goal. My goals used to be about like money and like I want to make 10 grand a month or whatever. Like, really, I don't fucking need 10 grand a month. I want to feel good. I want to wake up and feel like excited to like do whatever I'm doing.
Yeah.
Kind of like Amy Kaufman, where I can't go to sleep because I'm too excited about what the hell I'm going to do tomorrow to like have an awesome day serving.
That sounds awesome.
Like that's the kind of life we should have. It's like where I can't wait to go to bed for the coming day. It's like going to be Christmas tomorrow and I can't go to sleep because Santa's coming, That's the kind of thing.
That, yeah. That's that in and of itself is a huge motivation. I think if I could make it there, then I'd be set.
Yeah. Yeah, because like, what is the money going to bring me? Like every time I get a raise, I'm just like, and I've had some fairly like good jobs and ones that pay pretty good, and and then my lifestyle goes up, and then it goes down and up and down. But like every time it goes up, I don't seem to be all that much happier. I just get more shit. I just end up with more material stuff.
I think there's a huge disassociation of money with your effort. So Chris mentioned something which was kind of funny, which is he feels like he's only 40% happy. Giving it 100% isn't necessarily going to really, create 60% more income for him. So there's a huge disassociation with the paycheck.
Yeah.
Sadly.
Yeah, I definitely know that one. Yeah, the more effort I put in.
So we're all kind of really trained. In a sense, we're all kind of trained by a big Skinner's box, right? Rats and pigeons pushing our buttons to try to get stuff to come out.
Mm-hmm.
And then you forget how to, as a rat, you forget how to scavenge and do your stuff, right? The harder you scavenge, the better food you can get. That sort of thing. Instead, how best can I push this button? What's the best way to push this button? I think that kind of mindset that I'm trying to stay back to. Or I know it's out there, and that's a big kind of piece of contention between me and my significant other. Very dedicated to work, which is admirable. But as a reminder, they're not going to be there for you if you get sick. They're not going to really, love you and take care of you.
Mm. Yeah.
So there's balance, right? There's understanding. I'm not quite sure what I was saying there, but.
Well, I was feeling it. Yeah.
And that's another reason why, why not surround yourself with people who are your tribe, who take care of you. What if they fight for you, you fight for them, and that sort of thing. Like you guys.
Yeah.
And which makes me worried, I'm a little worried about Poway because I haven't heard from him. Like, I've tried calling him a couple times this week.
Oh,
Maybe
from
I'll try an
Cali.
email. Did you hear from him?
No. No, I should call him.
I tried calling him. I left him a couple of voicemails, and he never got back to me. But,
You think he just went on the deep end about soccer, or what?
I'm curious, actually, because it's easy for me to laugh at. It's just a game, but
I mean, did you see
yeah,
that Brazil-Germany game? Like,
yeah. When it's,
damn.
I think soccer is kind of part of their national identity, right? So
I mean,
there's
that
a
was
lot of,
that was a beating. That was just brutal.
yeah, and it didn't really get much better with the Netherlands game yesterday.
Sure. So,
But I was wondering if that's kind of what affected it, because I did call the day after. I didn't get back.
I'm guessing it's a multitude of things.
But
Busy
yeah,
at
I know.
work, not taking enough action, you're beating yourself up over it, and on top of like soccer and God knows what else.
I know his wife. I think a bit of a time conflict with I think it comes right around prime family time. These meetings.
Oh, sure.
So and then a couple times he had to cut out early to take care of his son. Right? So I
Yeah.
think that there's a hidden kind of conflict going on.
Gotcha.
But I'm curious to see what if he's okay. If he needs us to move the time, then
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
can
you can
I
express
can
that.
accommodate.
Yeah, like when I send out that email, it's a suggestion on time. Anyone can chime in if they need something different.
Let me send him an email. I think that'd be a better way.
Yeah, you should reach out to him. You guys are pretty close.
I don't know. Try again next week for sure, but I'll try the email too.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Drew, it's 9 o'clock. I'm gonna call it here just because it's late my time.
Nope, that's fine, man. Thanks for giving me the extra hour. I totally appreciate it. I always get a lot talking with you. You achiever, you number 3.
Yeah. I just saw that you like posted in here. What was this?
Oh,
Thus they are feeling. Thus they are primarily the type of feeling center. Threes, interestingly, are not known as feeling people. Rather, they are people of action and achievement, as if they put their feelings in a box, that they can get ahead with what they want to achieve. Threes have come to believe emotions get in the way of their performance, so they substitute thinking and practical action just for feelings, which is absolutely fucking true. I don't deal with any of my emotions, and that's why I was a raging alcoholic. Period. I just don't want to deal with feelings. I just want to shove them deep down and not look at them. I want nothing.
You've come a long way then, man. I must say, you've come a
Well,
really
yeah.
long way, because I totally see you as like a feeling type of person, and
Yeah.
upfront with all of that. David, maybe more I see as an achiever.
Yeah, David's definitely an achiever. I would be shocked if he was anything else than the Enneagram. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if Collar took it. That's good.
Yeah, you should ask him.
When he decides to get back to me. Anyway, let me write that email. I'll let you go. Thanks again for the extra time. Um, I'm glad everything's going well with Matei. Hope you have a bit more time this week to do your sales, to do whatever it is that you need.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hopefully. I think I got this figured out, but yeah, I wrote down a bunch of stuff you guys told me to work with. And
Are you feeling good though? Are you still feeling driven? And
truthfully, if you want to know like energy level, I'm at like on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm at like a 4, and I'm just really beat. And I think it just has to do with sleep and proper eating, and I just need to get back on it. I haven't been working out at all. Like I haven't worked out in probably 3 or 4 weeks now. And so I'm just not doing myself the right things. So I think I need to take care of myself more, and that would really bring myself into the right place with everything else. You know what I mean? With like coming to the meeting, like doing great at my job, doing awesome with TF stuff, like I just need to take better care of myself. So
I think you could figure out a way to address. How can I put this? Because I've been in the situation where you're just going from fire to fire, and actually you can kind of let yourself. Does it make sense to not even think about where the fire is coming from, but just handle the fire, go through your day, putting out fires. But it's really hard to get to the next level of thought where you're being proactive. And in a way, if you can even take it a step further than that, the best way of putting out a fire is just thinking about it, to take all those things off the table, ask yourself what's really necessary. If you need to go to all those meetings, I don't know, I'm making a lot of assumptions just based on not knowing much about your job, unfortunately. But priority-wise, I think it would be pretty awesome. Like, I've got some systems that I could set up that are easy. I could take stuff off my plate. I'm just too lazy to do it. Probably won't do it. So I can practice what I preach. But I don't know if there's anything there for you that you can do about it. Create a system.
no, I think there's a lot I can either, like Chris said, either eliminate or take a different approach with. Whether it's like
Do you have anybody underneath you?
2 people, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe there's some leveraging you can have done there.
I mean, they're fucking swamped. I've pushed a lot of stuff on them.
Oh.
And I've sat in both of their seats, and I know that they're doing more heavy lifting than they need to be. So we have a problem with not enough hands on deck, which is not good. And I've told my boss, I was like, you better budget for someone else. I know the budget, and there's room for it in the budget. Make it happen. That's just what I told her flat out. Because what's more expensive than getting someone new? Turnover. And you're going to have turnover if this doesn't get better. So
there you go. Maybe that's maybe you're hitting it right on the jugular.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm taking like 8 full days or quote unquote 8 full, because they had like 2 people working on this at this other agency that was doing the grant, and each of them spent 4 days out of the beginning of the month together. So they said combined it's going to be like 8 days of work or whatnot. And I was like, oh, maybe these guys aren't doing it right. That was my first thought. But anyway, so long story short is like, I think we have enough work for another full-time person. And so that's something we need to address, where we have growing pains and aren't growing with them.
Yeah.
And I'm beating my ass over it, which is not good, because I'm going to burn out at both my job and drain myself so I don't do any work on the TF. So that's not where I want to be. Which really is not good. So
you want to enjoy, doing the getting housing, for low income.
Yeah, like
you want to enjoy that, not.
Yeah, I just dread all the things I have going on right now, and there's just like so much fucking shit. I'm also not sure. So I have a cat. I'm not sure what to do with the cat. My roommate either wants the cat gone or I gotta move with the cat. So I'm also racking my brain about what to do. Do I get rid of the cat or do I move? which
Oh,
is just
allergic?
another life thing, like another life stressor to put time towards.
You attached to the cat? I mean, I remember seeing the cat.
I like the cat, yeah. I'd be kind of bummed if I had to let the cat go.
Does the cat like you? No.
The cat really likes me, yeah.
Darn that cat. Wasn't really.
Yeah, if it was like a pain in the ass, I'd say, yeah, get rid of the fucking cat. But the cat's really sweet. I mean, I don't know. It's one of those things where I've had this pet for like 3 years now. It wasn't something I planned on having, but I'm pretty attached to it, so I'm kind of torn on like getting rid of it. I really just don't want to move. One, for the time factor, and two, I really like the location, price. Like, it's working between the two of us as roommates. It's just the cat's the issue right now, so I'm like, oh, fuck.
Allergic or allergies?
It's a little more complicated than that, but yeah. So the cat like used the downstairs basement as like a kitty litter box, and it's just like sprayed everywhere.
Oh.
And it's due to the fact that there's like, so there's like this ledge that goes all the way around the perimeter that's filled in. It's like a hollow, and it's filled in with dirt. So it's like essentially like a kitty litter box.
Okay.
So the cat just like thought it was fair game. And she took a random shit in the middle of the floor while I was gone on vacation in San Fran. So I'm not sure what that was about. Never had that before. But coupled with the fact that she urinated all over the downstairs, my roommate's like, this is enough. I can't deal with this. I'm like, well, fuck. I don't know.
She?
Like, you got a cat?
Spayed, neuter?
Yeah. Fixed. It's a she.
Huh.
It's just weird because I haven't had the issue before, and now it's like a new development. So, like, fuck, what do I do with this thing? Or am I supposed to be looking for housing right now, which is not a fun thing that takes a bunch of time looking for a new place to go rent, or that'll take cats. And I don't have roommates that are like ready to take me on. So I'm like either gonna look for a place with new roommates or pay a lot more to live by myself. I don't know. Just another thing that's like added to like my low energy level sort of thing. It's just like I feel overwhelmed with a lot of things lately. But
did you get some ice cream yet today?
No, I didn't. That's a big part of it.
Get some ice cream. Get a bit of ice cream.
Actually, there's some in the freezer. I should get some ice cream.
There you go.
Drew, all right. I should probably just take some time, go over my Enneagram, and call it a day.
All right, man. Sounds like a plan. Hope you can start to chip away at a whole bunch of those issues.
Yeah.
Let me know if I can help you in any way. Or I'll keep my eyes peeled for something that might help you.
Yeah, I'll think about that. Because you have really good feedback. I'll have to see if there's something I should get new insight on. Maybe I should just take time out tomorrow morning and really just prioritize the hell out of what's all on my plate and what I should be looking at to put my time towards each day.
That could be real value right there. Instead of just
I'm definitely not doing that. So, and I should get my ass to the gym. So I'm sure I'd feel a lot better if I just started working out again. Anyway.
Enjoy summer. You're only on it
Awesome, dude.
for a month.
Drew, thank you, man.
No, thank you, Kevin. Thanks for staying on for an extra hour with me and giving me your time.
Definitely. Yeah, this was good. All right. Until next week. You too, man.
Have a good week, man.
Later, Drew.